Hello and welcome everybody. We are live. Samir is with us back again. Just kidding. It did sound right.
Gosh darn
Samir,
it again. And I know you don't want me here, Yudi, but here I am.
do you want to do a quick intro for people who may not have watched our live sessions before?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Samir. I'm an immigration lawyer here in the Silicon Valley area. Been practicing for over 20 years. And today, Yudi, I am a little upset with
Mm,
with our government
yeah,
based on kind of what we seem to be what seem to beginning to be happening right now,
yeah.
which is a very problematic trend.
Mm. Yeah, and I know I titled the live session as well, something similar to because you gave me like a preview of what's going on, and I'm like, wait, what is going on? And then so I want to understand more. But before we do that, first, if you're new to this, every Wednesday 1 p.m. California time we do this, where we will Samir and I'll go live and answer any immigration questions you have, plus address anything that's going on in the migration world. And two, I just posted the link in the chat if you want to register for O1 visa webinar. That's Friday this week. 2 days from now, we'll have to see Samir again, but it's okay.
I'm going to show
Yes.
all of you how to be extraordinary.
Yeah, yes, yes, it's gonna be fun time, absolutely free, so please come join. Samir, what's going on? I heard some of it, but if you can like give context to the audience and then explain what's going on, and then I'll ask some more questions on that.
Yeah. So what is happening? Heard whispers of this from my colleagues around the country over the last week, and then somebody came to me for help today, or yesterday. So I know it's happening for sure.
Yeah.
What is this that's happening? So when somebody's on an H1B, right, and they leave their job, we all know very well now whether it's through a layoff, through a termination, or voluntarily, right?
Mm,
Whatever reason it is, and you have like a new approval notice for that company, then you're entitled to what? A 60-day grace period, right? We know that, right?
mm,
Now, what happens when you leave your company? The company is required to withdraw the H1B, right? That results in the H1B itself, the petition being revoked. It doesn't mean your status is revoked. It means your petition is revoked, meaning the government no longer has or the company has no longer has an obligation to employ you or pay you, and that's fine. You're not with the company anymore. That's all that it means. Okay.
mhm,
Um, and then in the grace period, the employee, the H1B holder, either changes their job to another H1B, right,
mhm,
or
mhm,
they change their status to B1, B2, or H4,
mm.
right?
Yep.
Right. So, and they're allowed to because you have a grace period, and you can change. We've been telling people this whole time you can change your status
Yeah.
or change your employer during that time.
Right.
Right. What's happening now is that USCIS is getting these revocation notices for the H1B from the company, and then seeing that the H1B holder has not left the country, even
Mm,
in the grace period, notwithstanding the fact that they've applied to change their status or
mm.
to change of employer, they're issuing them a notice to appear in immigration court
Oh wow,
for deportation or removal proceedings. That's
interesting.
what's happening.
That
Okay.
is wild.
Now,
Okay.
this is really wild. We're just starting to see this happening.
Yeah.
We're not quite sure if this is a mistake. Like, are they just overreaching? They have this kind of are they just trying to issue as many NTAs as possible, and they realize they overstepped, and are they going to pull back? Or is this a sign of some bigger trend to follow, right?
Mm,
Is this a sign of them actually contesting the ability of H1B holders to stay in the grace period? Because here's the thing, okay? There
mm,
is a grace period. It
yeah.
says it in the regulations. But if you look at the regulations carefully, it
Mhm.
says that USCIS has a discretion
Mm,
to give that grace period or not. Do you understand? So
yeah.
they always have historically since the grace period was created, and I think it was 2017. Um, I have never heard of a situation where they have used their discretion not to give that grace period.
Mm, mm,
But we're wondering now, are they contesting like the right to give a grace period? Are they using their discretion to pull back on it? Right.
Mm.
And then number two is a more complicated issue, okay? Because they are trying to deport everybody who doesn't have status, right?
Yeah.
That's we're seeing that now.
Yeah.
Initially, they were saying they're going after only the violent criminals. Now they're going after everybody, right, who doesn't have status. Now, when you're in the grace period and then you're applying to, let's say, an H4,
Yeah.
technically you don't have status.
Mm.
You're in a period of authorized stay, which is legally distinct. And up until now, as long as I said in the beginning of this session, I've been a lawyer for 20 plus years. In all these 20 plus years, they've never really contested the two, right? At least
Yeah.
USCIS hasn't. They never
Yeah.
really looked at them differently. If you're in a period of authorized stay, that's usually been okay.
Mm.
We're wondering now if they're basically using this as an opportunity to deport those who are in a period of authorized stay to increase their deportation numbers.
Mm.
And that includes people who are, have pending H4s, for example, or pending H1B transfers, or things like that.
And and just to again kind of clarify the situation, let's say my company decides to let me go today. I'm on H1B. My company decides to let me go. I have 60 days to find. I mean, typically I get that 60 days, and then my company decides, like, because they are also legally liable to revoke my H1B status, so they'll go and tell USA.
No, see, this is the thing. This is where it gets super complicated, right? So
Mm,
I want to make sure everyone understands. The
mm,
company revokes the H1B petition,
mm.
but not your status. Do you understand?
Okay.
Okay, they're withdrawing the H1B petition, meaning the terms of your H1B employment. Okay,
Okay.
but that's distinct from your status from the perspective of you still maintain your ability to be in the grace period, which is
Mm.
kind of like a 60-day H1B period.
Yeah.
Without you can't work in it, but you can be here, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like this in between area.
Yeah, and this is even after, like, I've after like this October 1st, I've picked in the lottery. I've got an H1B status. My change of status has already happened. Doesn't matter. Even after that, if
So we're talking about after you've started your H1B.
yeah, okay. And so they
So
they are, if they are requesting USS to remove the petition, they're
mm-hmm,
not requesting to remove the H1B status. They're saying like,
mm-hmm,
hey, we no longer associate. Essentially,
mm-hmm,
that's what they're saying. Um,
yeah.
and and then what you are saying is, like, what you are seeing is that because now we fall under technically no status, we government is going after these people to deport them.
Saying have status, we're going to deport you.
Mm,
We want you to appear in immigration court.
mm,
So what are we doing for this client in particular?
yeah.
We are filing what's called, and they have the hearing in like 2.5 weeks. Okay. So we are filing what's called a motion to terminate proceedings,
Mm,
which we are legally allowed to do. Like the court must like cancel this immigration court proceedings
mm,
if the person is not removable. Do you
mm,
understand? Meaning like the court agrees this person has the right to be here.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're filing that motion today.
Mm,
And then we'll find out the court has 10 days to respond to the motion. So we'll find out in the next 10 days, does the court agree with us? This is San Francisco Immigration Court.
yeah.
Okay. Every court has different judges.
Mm, mm,
First of all, every court itself has different judges. And then every court itself is different from each other. So there are some courts that are more conservative than others, right? So it really
mm.
depends on kind of where you live as to where this might happen to you. But the procedures are largely the same. Will the court agree? We'll find out in the next 10 days.
Yeah. Yeah, and technically losing job is not in your control. So so you can't even control the situation.
Yeah, but if you're I would call them now the evil geniuses at USCIS. Okay, that's what they are. And you're looking to deport as many people as possible. You're going to find as many loopholes as you can, right?
Mm,
And so this loophole of, well, this person is not technically in status, but
mm,
they're here, so that we can add to our deportation numbers by deporting them too,
mm,
right? If you're looking at it super cynically, which I'm not sure we should do yet, but we should at least consider that.
Yeah.
Then then that would make sense from their perspective, for it to be an intentional strategy on their part,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So this is really problematic. This is probably the most problematic thing I've seen, for those in the business immigration community since this administration started.
Mm. And so for people who are on H1B, maybe on this their grace period, they haven't yet received it. What would you advise them? Just lawyer up, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much they can do. I mean, they can talk to their companies about, maybe waiting to withdraw the H1B.
Hmm.
Um, See, the companies have to withdraw the H1B, but there isn't anything, in the regulations that says by when do they have to. It's just kind of within a reasonable time,
Yeah.
right? So if I were talking to companies, and I intend to kind of post about this probably on LinkedIn today, I would tell them, can you not withdraw the H1B until maybe, this employee has received their H1B transfer approval,
Mm,
or their H4 approval? I mean, it's not always going to be realistic to expect companies to wait,
yeah.
right? Because they have to do so within a certain amount of time. They want to remain compliant. And if you're changing to H4, that could take several months. That could take 6 months. The
Yeah.
company's not going to wait that long. So,
Yeah.
that's one thing that I want, companies to do. But as far as, those with H1Bs go, or in any status for that matter, who encounters a situation, don't contact a lawyer immediately as soon as you get what's called this. It's called an NTA, or notice to appear, in immigration court.
Mm, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, this is what kind of you're referring to. Like, can one request employer not
Mhm.
to withdraw the H1B until the grace period ends, or second
You can
employer?
request them to. Yeah, you can certainly ask them to. Whether or not they will or not, that's going to be up to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like, they have to within a certain amount of time. So how are they going to know? Are they going to now they have to keep track of every person that leaves, and when have they regained their status? Like, that may not be a practical solution for the employer, right? They may have kind hearts and they may want to help, but it may not be practical for them to be able to do so.
Mm. Especially like big firms where they do like 2000 plus layoffs or
Yes,
something like.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. If you're a smaller company, sure, they tend to always want to work with you and help you if they can.
Yeah. Yeah.
But big companies, it'll just be very difficult to manage.
Mm. Crazy. This is wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other updates? I know I saw an fee thing that they have imposed in the bill, like July 4th bill, that there's an addition of a, I don't know what they're calling it, like some increased fee for every different visa categories. Uh,
Yes, there's an increased, fee at the consulates, I believe, for.
for
I have
booking.
to go back and, yeah, for booking. The biggest fees I've seen, the biggest fee increases I've seen are for those who are generally in immigration court already, who are applying for asylum, and, are in danger of deportation, and are
Mm,
kind of are in those types of proceedings. And those typically don't, hit, the audience here. Okay, but yeah, more than that, there isn't much, of an effect,
yeah.
from that bill.
Mm, okay. I think there are a few more questions on the H1B topic, so I'm going to
Mhm.
go back to that one. What should be done? I think we kind of talked about in what situation should G28 representation be sought? What is G28?
So a G28 is a form where, um, an attorney will enter their appearance on behalf of somebody to notify USCIS that an attorney represents them. But you have to understand that USCIS is, distinct from immigration court. They're two separate bodies.
Mm,
Okay, so USCIS can say notify. There's all the agencies. I'm gonna give like 17 acronyms here, but they're all part of DHS, which is Department of Homeland Security, right? So USCIS can basically, initiate the NTA issuance process.
mm,
Then it goes to, Immigration Customs Enforcement, ICE, right?
mm,
And the immigration court body, which is EOIR, Executive Office for Immigration Review.
mm,
Okay. At that point, uh, an attorney needs to enter their appearance with the immigration court, not USCI. That's a different form altogether.
Mm.
And you really can't do that until you have an NTA. So I've just given you 17 different acronyms. I've kind of went through every letter and number in the alphabet and the kind of alphanumeric kind of list here. The point being, start thinking about who would you contact if this were to happen.
Mm. Can
Okay.
they contact
Um,
you or your team?
we'd be happy to, depending on location. If we're in the San Francisco area. So if you're in the Bay Area, we can help do the motions to terminate in San Francisco Immigration Court. But if you're in different areas, you'll need to contact attorneys there.
Mm.
So uh, if you need referrals, we can try to do that for you. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, this is a very new thing that's happening, and so I don't know if anybody kind of has a full referral list for every location around the country yet, but
Yeah.
we can certainly point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Let's see. There are lots of questions. I'm gonna will answer this one super chat for now. On green card, I choose not to work. Any problem at port of entry?
So you have the green card. You're choosing not to work. Any problem at the port of entry? There generally isn't a requirement to work once you have the green card. Like part of having the green card and permanent residency is a freedom to, within the bounds of kind of the law, right? To do what you want. And there's no requirement to work except for the basis of getting your green card. If you got your green card on the basis of a job or on the basis of you saying to the government, I planned to work in this field, like the EB1A or in the
Mm.
NIW context, right? You should be doing that after you get the green card. Now, if some time passes, let's say 6 months pass after you get your green card, and you change your mind, that's okay too.
Mm.
But if you, the day one from receiving a green card, if you got your green card based on work and you're not working as you said you would, then that could be an issue down the line.
Okay. National interest waiver. Oh, sorry. Yeah. National interest waiver. I-140 pending since last 8 months. So, what would you suggest at this point? Giving. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, would you suggest doing premium processing? The problem is with premium processing, the fear is that they're rushed so much to respond quickly within 15 business days. They don't read the petition thoroughly. They don't read the petition thoroughly and they issue an RFE that really makes it hard for your case to get approved. Right.
Mm.
That's the fear. And I would say there is some credence to that fear. I don't have exact stats on this. I don't think anybody does, but the feeling is at least like a 10, maybe 50% increased chance of an RFE if you were to file through premium processing for that reason.
Mm.
I mean, don't have exact numbers. This is just ballpark, right? Um, Weigh and balance that with the fact that it looks like EB1s and NIWs are taking 12 to 18 months plus to process now.
Mm.
So, what is more important for you? Getting closure right now and dealing with the RFE when it comes in, or slightly minimizing the chance for an RFE and pushing it out, knowing you still might get one down the line, anyways, right? Because they're kind of hard on NIWs across the board at this point.
Mm.
So, most of our clients choose to premium process and then just deal with it as it comes. But
Yeah.
that's a personal decision.
Yeah. Okay. Some math over here for you.
Oh God. Doesn't everyone realize I'm a philosophy major? I stopped taking math early in college.
Right. Uh, so how? Sorry, I forgot to ask. How does the law work? Do you
Yeah.
like you do mass? Do you do bachelor's and then you do masters?
Yeah. In most cases, you have to, if you want to go to law school here in the US, you generally have to have an undergraduate degree first.
Mm.
But it's not like med school where, with med school, you probably have to have a science major, right? You have to take a certain number of science courses to get
Mm.
into med school. With law school, there is no such requirement. And so usually just have to have a bachelor's degree for the most part. Now there are common
What
degrees,
did you
like,
major in?
what's that?
What did you major in?
I majored in philosophy.
Oh.
So here's the thing. I love philosophy, and I majored in it knowing I was going to go to law school because I sure as hell didn't think I was going to get a job as a philosophy major, graduating as a bachelor's degree holder. But I wanted to study it, and I knew that it was a good entree into law school because of this idea that you learn how to think analytically, right? In both cases, right, and make an
Interesting.
argument
Yeah.
and think critically about things. So. Majors where you're thinking critically are really good preparations for law school, like history, philosophy,
Mm,
lots of the liberal arts degrees.
mm,
Many people, major in political science, and you can major in anything. There are those that major in science and engineering, who then
mm,
go on to law school and become patent attorneys. So there's all sorts of different avenues.
mm. Okay. All right. I've finished my third semester. By the time I would want to fly to India, okay, I'll stay there for more than a month. And my classes are going to start on January 25th, and I'm planning to return on February 1st. When I'm at immigration, will the officer see this as a problem? By the way, I'm in LA County, so I'll be landing at LAX or airport.
Uh, well, okay. I want to answer this question, Edie, but is it your feeling that I want to ask a question about F1 visa holders generally? And I mean, I don't want to generalize, but I don't know how else to do this.
Yeah.
Do students Are students scared of asking their designated school officers questions like this?
Not scared. They are not. They don't know if they know answer to these things, or they probably don't have enough confidence of like, do they really know this, or are they just saying this like, I think that's what I've heard. Some schools are really good. They have really good DSOs, and some school
Hmm.
they'll like come up with some complex like immigration. They're like, we don't know what to do, like we have never faced something like this, so we don't. So that's where like I think students are losing more and more
Hmm.
complex trust. I think that's probably what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, in full candor, we don't work with a lot of students. Most immigration lawyers don't, right? So I don't know the exact answer to this question. I
Mhm.
do know that it is a requirement that you maintain your full course load, right? These are the kind of questions where I think DSOs would be helpful because they can rely on experience. Like they see this all the time, right?
Yeah.
So they would be the ones to kind of let you know whether it's risky or not. And so I would encourage you to talk to your DSO about that.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah. So F1 related DSO is the first point of contact you should like talk to.
Usually, yeah,
Mm. Okay.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Can you switch employers before October 1st if your petition has been approved? This is like the most common
I'm
question.
assuming you're talking about H1B.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you're on OPT. Your H1Bs you picked in the lottery, then approved, and now you want to switch your employer. Okay, so um, the answer is maybe, and probably as every day passes, it becomes harder and harder.
Mm.
Okay, because number one, you have to get the new employer to get an H1B approved for you before October 1st. Okay, like as soon as possible.
Mm.
Okay, then you'd be safe to move over on your OPT.
Mm.
But getting an H1B approved, it takes like 4 to 6 or 8 weeks. Now we're talking about 2 months. Now we're
Mm.
almost at October 1st, anyways,
Mm.
right? So at this point, I honestly would not risk it, especially because if you were to leave your company to go to another company, what is company A going to do? They
Yeah.
have to withdraw your H1B, which
Yeah.
can not only put you in the situation that we've been talking about today, but it can also jeopardize your SEVA status in F1,
Mm.
right? So I would honestly, my best advice to most students who have an H1B is try your best to stick with the employer through October, through at least one pay cycle in October, and then transition.
Yeah. Okay. Clarifying, got green card 10 years ago, but was laid off.
Yeah, they don't care what you're doing for work right now.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Had FNU name in the initial H1B approval and a transfer. After switching to current employer, the attorneys filed using LNU. I'm trying to push back, but they are reluctant to file amendment.
So now your first name unknown, last name unknown. So your name is just unknown, basically. Like some kind of poor guy. Okay. So this is kind of common. It's sometimes unusual for American attorneys to know what to do. Like they see this as unusual and they kind of don't know what to do sometimes. If they're pushing back to file an amendment, it's because they don't think it's serious enough and
Mm,
they don't want to admit they made a mistake, or the company doesn't want to spend the money on it.
mm,
So I think it's okay. I think it's explainable. Um, it's got your birthday on the approval's got, it's got your birthday on it. It's got your I-94 number on it. There's lots of different ways to cross-reference this approval to you. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. It's just going to be a little inconvenient for you.
okay. If my STEM OPT application is pending and my company has announced potential chances of layoff, what will you recommend? Will it be beneficial to immediately apply for premium processing?
Um, I guess so. I mean, in most cases, uh, a, a layoff wouldn't necessarily trigger any different treatment from USCIS. Like they're not going to know, right? So why would premium processing help? The only reason it would help is if there's some other deficiency in your application, right? And that needs to be sorted out. And if that were to happen 4 months from now, and by that time you've been laid off, you can't sort it out because you don't have the employer anymore, and that's going to cause issues. So, just as an insurance policy, you may want a premium process, but otherwise, it generally wouldn't make that much of a difference.
Hmm. Okay. Lost H1B job, planning to switch to F2, a wife on STEM OPT. Is it safe to job hunt on F2? Heard people getting RFE when switching to F2, B1 to H1B. How risky is
Mhm.
it? Our
Yeah,
video is coming, so I know they haven't seen that yet. But yes, go ahead and tell them.
our videos coming on this.
Yeah,
But yeah, things are ever things are ever changing too. It's like this is a good question because we're starting to hear whispers of RFEs questioning people's ability to look for jobs when they're
yeah,
in this kind of non-work authorized status,
right. Yeah.
right? So the short answer is you are legally allowed to look for jobs in that status. You are. You're allowed to be here for meetings, for job interviews, right? For tourist status. You can't have the intent to work in that status. So it's kind of a gray area, and the
Mm,
government can twist that into saying you intend to work because you're looking for a job, and that could be their argument. So yes, it's just another example of ways they're trying to make your life difficult.
mm,
And just because a letter of the law says you can do one thing, it doesn't mean that they're going to interpret the law in your favor, right? Especially now.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay. If I got an offer from 10 people company or company with 10 people, what is the immigration point of view? I'm unsure about e-verified or not. Can I work in 12 months of OPT? I'm
Okay.
just,
Let's unpack this question here.
yeah,
A little confusing, um, but I think what I'm getting from this is you have an offer from a small company, 10 people in it. You don't know if they're e-verified. Can you work for them in your 12 months of OPT? E-verify has nothing to do with the first 12 months of OPT. So if you have a job offer, a legitimate job offer in your first 12 months of OPT, yes, you can work for them.
yeah,
Um, uh, if they want to extend you, they will need to e-verify themselves, and so that's something you can talk about with them.
yeah. Okay, big question. It's almost hiding your face.
Oh my gosh, I'm just gonna hide behind her now.
There we go. I applied for STEM OPT on July 3rd. You ready for some math? My STEM OPT start date is July 9th. Okay. When I applied, my employer had offered me a certain salary, let's call it X, and I included that in my I-90 983. Just before STEM OPT start date, they gave me an updated offer letter with a $5,000 salary reduction. The new salary still meets the state's minimum wage and STEM OPT requirement. Do I need to report this change to my DSO or submit a new I 983? Interesting question.
Yeah, I don't see that one very often. That's a bit unfortunate. Although I don't think it's like catastrophic for you. But if something has changed, okay, there isn't a rule.
In terms of money, but not. I think you mean in immigration.
I mean, immigration wise, yeah, exactly. Well, it's not great money wise, but
Yeah.
immigration wise, I also think it's going to be okay.
Mm,
Um, so there isn't a rule that directly addresses this. There is a general principle that if there is a material change in your employment, you should notify the government. And I think they usually view salary reductions as a material change. It's a little different in the STEM LPT context because there isn't a minimum wage. There's
mm,
just kind of like a pay the kind of wage that's commensurate with this job. So it's
mm,
kind of loosey goosey. But if you have indicated an exact wage on the 983 and it's gone down, I would at least ask your school what do they want to do, because you have to understand the school is also responsible for making sure
mm,
that they're reporting the correct information to the government, right? So you and the school are kind of in the same boat on this. So partner with them, let them know what happened, ask them, hey school, do you want me to update? Like, do you want to update this? This has happened. Put it on kind of in their plate and see what they want to do. Either way, I don't think it's going to affect the STEM LPT approval.
mm.
It's not
Okay.
really material to the case, but you are doing whatever you can to be honest and transparent, and that
Be
always pays
compliant.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and compliant. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. All right. I'm working full time on contract role as a STEM. Um, can I still work in some other company for 10 hours max for free? Can I do free volunteering work on STEM OPT apart from full time work?
I mean, generally speaking, no. When you're in your STEM LPT period, every employment has to comply with the terms of the STEM LPT,
Yeah.
right? That means the company must be e-verified. And that means you must be kind of doing kind of like the training work that's commensurate with what the requirements are, being paid an amount that's commensurate with what people get paid in that job.
Mm.
So I would say no, you should not do that.
And it has to be 20 hours plus.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. My OPT clock has started. To stop the clock, I joined a nonprofit organization. The manager agreed to give me an unpaid offer letter with no end date. Still, I did not get my SSN. When should I submit the offer letter to college, before or after getting SSN? Interesting.
I'm not sure what the SSN has to do with this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you don't need an SSN to start working.
Yep.
I think you're kind of I understand you're kind of confusing two things. I understand why, but do not hesitate to give the school the letter and stop the unemployment clock. Okay, it
Mm,
has nothing to do with the SSN, and you are allowed to work without an SSN. You just need the OPT card. If you
mm,
have the OPT card, then you're allowed to work. If you've applied for the SSN, that might take a little bit of time. Usually, it takes 2 to 4 weeks. Even if it's taking longer, do not let that stop you beginning or stopping the clock on your unemployment.
yeah. Nice. Okay. All right. Big questions. My employer filed a counselor H1B in the month of May, but in June I got full-time employment in X company, which does not sponsor or accept H1B transfers. I want to stick with X company for some good reasons. At this point, I'm thinking to work with this company and go back to employer who filed my counselor H1B. What are your thoughts? Should I withdraw my H1B counselor as I'm currently working with a different company? Okay, it's a little complex.
So this person's in OPT. Is that I'm assuming
Yeah,
that that's what the
yeah,
case is here,
yeah.
and they have a consular H1B which is not active yet with employer A. Now they like employer B better, which is employer B's X company.
Hmm.
You want to stick with them. You want to go to employer B X company, probably because they pay more, or you have a better, it's just better for your career, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then you want to come back to the company once your OPT is over for the H1B.
Mm.
I mean, okay. I guess in these questions, I wonder, like, how does the company feel about this? Like, is company A going to be like, yeah, go work for company B, come back to us when you're ready? Maybe I'm wrong. It seems like something that seems a little unrealistic.
Mm.
And if you were to do that and they withdraw the H1B because they're like, okay, I guess this person doesn't want to work with us, then it's like, and you haven't activated it yet, then it's like you never got it in the lottery. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yes. Yeah.
So I would say in this case, I'm sorry, but I don't think you can have it both ways. You either want the H1B and you keep the H1B, or you go for the company that doesn't support H1Bs for the short term gain. And
Mm.
that's your personal decision. You got to do what's best for you. If it was me, I would stick with the H1B company. I would activate it and make sure that I have that H1B runway to stay here for many years. At that point, I would go and start looking for better jobs if I didn't love the job that I was
Mm.
in. That's just me.
Yeah. And I have a follow up. So
Yeah.
H1B counselor, like you'd say that, hey, I don't want change of status. I want to stay on OPT.
Mm-hmm.
But when, like, do you have to tell the government that now I want to change the status, or
So,
like,
so how do you activate the H1B consulate, right?
yeah,
You have to go abroad, get a visa stamp, and re-enter with that visa stamp.
okay, gotcha.
That's how.
So in,
That's why it's called consulate, right? You go to the consulate and get your visa stamp.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So hypothetically, in this case, he could go get the H1B
Mhm.
activated and then switch to this company B.
No, because that company doesn't want to do H1Bs.
Oh, not even transfers. Okay.
Right. Right.
Okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
You need put on your career counseling hat. What do you advise this person to do? This is
I
not a
would,
legal
I mean,
question.
I would keep H1B. I would keep H1B. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though it's a short-term game, whatever, get H1B and then,
Kind of think a little bit more long term here.
yeah. But again, I think I don't know the full life story and all of this, so it's
Right.
hard to kind of suggest. How's the current situation for H1B transfer? I'm with a consulting firm now, but exploring a state role conversion or a private company transfer. Any concerns should I consider?
What is a state role conversion? I'm not sure I know what that means.
Yeah.
Or a private company transfer. H1B transfers are fairly straightforward still.
Mm.
Haven't seen much change so far. I'll let you know when it does. I'll be screaming and crying towards you when there are changes. But right now, it seems like they're pretty straightforward still, like they used to be.
Mm. Nice.
So yeah.
Cool. Um, if I'm in L2S visa and have applied for extension along with L1, will I have the authorization to work after the current visa expires?
Great question. That is a really, really good question. My instinct is telling me yes. Okay, so what is L2S? You're a spouse of an L1, so you're L2 spouse. S meaning spouse. Kids cannot work. L2 kids cannot work. L2 spouses can, just by virtue of having an L2. They don't even need the EAD anymore, right?
Oh, really?
So that's correct. Yeah, as of a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you apply for the extension, then I would argue you do. I don't know if it's like an actual. Um, this is the gray area, but I would argue that you do because the L1 has applied for an extension. Even past the expiration, they are allowed to continue working for up to 240 days, right, while the extension is pending. So if you, as an L2, are married to the L1, then I would argue that you are maintaining your L2 status for that period too. And if you're maintaining your L2 status, then I would maintain that you have the right to work. Okay. So,
Mm.
so if it was me, I would, and you're my client, I would say yes, based on these factors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It is surprising even H1B holders are facing deportation problems more than people who are in their OPT with no employment or where their clock is running. I wonder why. We are wondering the same thing.
Mhm. Okay. I mean, I want to caution you about doing one thing though. Okay, it
Hmm.
starts saying why me and not them, because in the eyes of the government, you're all one in one category.
Mm.
Okay, if the government is anti-immigrant, they view all of you as the same, and if you don't like have the attitude to think collectively and be protective over all of you, including the undocumented population, by the way, because the
Mm.
government right now, our administration does not distinguish the two of you. Okay, and they're more powerful when you're pitted against each other rather than you are a unified collective group that is advocating for sensible immigration rules for everybody. You're
Mm.
much more powerful that way. Okay. So I would caution you, urge you to think more along those lines rather than why are they going after me and not that person? Because that just plays into the hands of those that are doing this to you in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. Came to US on H4, old passport, then renewed the passport, and then applied for change of status to F1. Got I-797A F1 approval. I've doubt regarding passport change. Do I need stamping after passport change? Have 797 approval.
Mm-hmm. Uh, y- uh, well, you've never gotten your F1 visa stamp yet after you changed, so it's less about the fact that you changed your passport, and it's more about the fact that your status has changed, right? If you want to travel, you have to have a visa stamp that is consistent with your current status.
Mm.
So you only need stamping, not because of the passport change, right? But because if you need to travel, then you have to get stamping.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm exploring EB1 options. My profile is ordinary and I am working towards it. I am giving myself 6 months
I
to
love
build.
the honesty. I love the honesty. It's like, I'm exploring extraordinary, but currently I'm ordinary. I love it. Yeah.
I'm giving 6 months to build a profile for it. How long does it take for someone to get EB1? I'm looking at the end of 2027 to see some results.
Ah, okay. For this person needs to go to these YouTube, go down, scroll down to the link to our website and schedule a 15-minute EB1A assessment with our firm. And I can meet with you and I can tell you. I love this question. I love that you think you're ordinary. You're probably not. You're probably a lot more than that. Okay.
Mm.
I love that you give yourself 6 months because you have the urgency. Okay. It may take longer, it may not. It really depends on your profile. But we are more than happy to help kind of talk you through that because this is something that we do a lot of and we are really, really into it. It's helping people qualify for the EB1 if they're at or near the top of their field.
Yeah. I just posted the link and it's a free, I'm saying free.
It's a free consultation. Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Every day, this is horrible news to hear. Currently in grace period, lost job on June 30th. Is it okay to do change of status to B2 or switch to another employer who's willing to hire me without project? Ooh.
Of the two, I would say B2 because if you're going to an employer without a project, that's even worse. That's like bordering on deception and fraud. Okay. Whereas the B2, at least you have a strong legal basis for switching to B2.
Yeah.
But yes, this is horrible news. And now even changing to B2, it's like you don't necessarily feel secure anymore.
Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
of the two, I would choose the B2 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When the 60 days grace period starts for H1B layoff, when does the 60, I guess that's what's the question, after the last day of employment or the day the last
Yeah.
paycheck received during any severance, PA or PTO reimbursement?
Yeah, there isn't kind of clear guidance in the regulations. There was a USCIS webpage devoted to this, and they've archived that webpage so that we can't really rely on the advice on that webpage anymore. Okay, because they don't consider that to be current policy.
Mm.
I would say err on the side of conservatism right now, and consider your last physical day of employment to be your last day, even if you got a paycheck afterwards that had a severance period. I mean, a severance period wasn't ever really considered to be employment period, anyways, right? It was your last paycheck. Your last day of your last pay period was often taken to be your last day of employment. Now I would say your last physical day of employment, just to be on the safe side, because
Mm.
I really believe that's how this government's going to interpret it.
Yeah. And I'm assuming this is also if the company has like potentially announce it or has announced it, but they want to keep the talent for like another 2 weeks for knowledge transfer, etc., which would be horrible. But again, they could do it.
But then they should pay you not on severance, but they should pay
Right.
you
Yeah. So
just like on a regular payroll. And if that's the case, it's they should agree to list that after those 2 weeks to be your last day of employment,
yeah, yeah,
right?
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. My H1B visa is expired in March, but work authorization is still 2027. What's the best approach to renew visa staying in USA in the current situation?
I mean, you're okay. So I think this might be an example of confusing two different things, right? Your H1B is really three things. Okay, it's permission to work, it's permission to live here, and it's permission to travel.
Hmm.
Okay, but these three things exist on two different documents, right? Your I-797A/I-94 governs your ability to work and be here, and that seems to be valid until 2027 based on your question here. So if that's the case, you can stay here and work until 2027, even if your visa stamp is expired, because the visa stamp only governs your right to re-enter the US after international travel.
Yeah. But they haven't. I know there was a whole thing about starting to do the stamping in United States. That
Yeah, that's not going to happen. You come on. After what you're hearing them doing to people in the grace period, you really think they're going to like bend over backwards and say, "Oh, by the way, but you know what? We know it's hard to travel, so please come here and we'll make it easy for you."
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Are my chances more to get picked in H1B letter if I'm on full time and permanent job instead of a contract job? In-
Neither. These are not factors that go into what increases or decreases your chances for being picked up in the lottery. Only one thing impacts your ability or kind of increases your chances of being in the lottery, and that's if you have a U.S. advanced degree. That's it. Because
oh,
then you're part of the additional 20,000
yeah.
numbers, right?
Mm.
And if you're not picked in that lottery, then you get the second chance in the regular bachelor's degree lottery. Aside
Mm.
from that, there is no way to increase or decrease your chances of being picked.
But let's say not for getting picked, but what about getting approved? Is
For
there?
getting approved, so
Yeah.
let's say you're picked, and then you
Yeah.
want to get approved, a contract job versus a full time job. I mean, I think the full time jobs are always a little stronger than the part time contract jobs. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I have a pending H1B with Noid, response 2024. But I got into the lottery 2025 with another employer. Will I have any problem with my new application?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this has to do with what happened in the Noid. Is this because of the situations where there are multiple registrations in the lottery? What happened? The reason that they're issuing the Noid is what we have to know as lawyers to be able to accurately assess what your chances are in this new lottery application. Okay,
Mm,
so talk to a lawyer, show them the Noid, and get their thoughts on it.
yeah. Okay. Additional context for LNU FNU issue. All my paperwork, bank, utilities, lease, social security, DME, etc., are all with FNU, first name unknown. TSA agents are now asking extra questions during domestic flights for FNU. Oh, mm,
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be a pain in your butt,
yeah.
um, but I don't think it's going to cause anything serious for you. It's just going to be really, really annoying.
Mm, okay. Um, part one question. So my new employer is filing for H1B change of employer plus H4 change of status for my spouse plus H4 EAD. My spouse is on H1B cap exam currently working for nonprofit research. The estimated so and so. Okay. Does she need to resign from her current job before July 28, or can she continue to work until H4 is
July.
approved?
Can you go back to the last screen for a second? The estimated start date is on July 28th for for the change of status for the H1B. Okay. And then could you go to does she need to resign from her current job before July 20th? Continue. She can continue working until the H4 is approved.
Mm.
Here's the thing. So uh, she's not going to, when she's in H4, she can't work until she has the EAD. And I think you know that probably. Okay. So at that point, she's going to have to stop working until she actually gets the EAD. But until the approval happens, she still maintains her H1B status.
Mm. Mm.
Okay.
Nice. Okay. Last few questions. My OPD ends on September 1st, 2025. I applied for STEM OPD extension, 8-month processing. Also, my employer filed for H1B, 4 months processing. Should I apply for premium processing?
On the STEM LPT, I think you're asking for, and I probably wouldn't. I don't think there really is a need to, unless there's something you're worried about in your case. But as long as you have a pending STEM LPT extension, you're in status, and you only need to show the receipt notice as proof of your maintenance of status. So
So the
the
only,
H1B is,
I think 1 month is probably what he's worried about, like September 1st to October 1st.
but he already applied. So he already applied for the STEM LPT extension, right?
Yeah.
So his first year of LPT ends on September 1st. He's got a STEM LPT, pending. You're right. And then, well, not just 1 month, because I don't think the employer did not do premium processing on the H1B,
Mm.
right? So that might not be approved until, I don't know,
Yeah.
October, November, December, depending on whenever they get to it, right? But during that whole time, you're in status. So I don't think there's a reason to apply for premium processing. You could do so for peace of mind, but that's really expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah.
$1,500
So,
roughly. Okay. Wanted to apply for real ID, but the DMB submitted I-797 approval to save for verification and wait, save forwarded to SAA.
hmm.
Based on online forums, I got to know it takes 30 to 5 or 50 days.
I don't know that for sure. This is not something we look at every day, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the max number of days would one have in hand during the grace period to initiate H1B transfer to avoid court appearings?
Like, I don't know if you can look at it like that, because what is triggering the NTA? What is triggering the notice to appear in immigration court? Is the employer notifying USCIS that they are withdrawing the H1B, which they have to do. They're required to do that. So then it doesn't matter. Like that, it all depends on when do they do that, right? Um, so I can't tell you how many days you have to get your status in gear, right? And get your status approved, because it all depends on when did the employer notify USCIS, and when does USCIS have the bandwidth to issue an NTA, if at all. I mean, they're
Mm,
not doing this for everybody. They're only doing it for some people. Like if they did it for everybody, there'll be 10,000 of these right now, and there aren't, right? Because there are 10,000 or more people who are in their grace period right now.
mm,
So I don't know how to answer that question. We just don't have an answer for you.
mm,
I mean, forget about the court proceedings. You generally have to do something within 60 days,
mm,
right? Whether it's file a new H1B through your employer or file for a change of status.
mm. Okay. Samir, what's the average time to respond for requests submitted for a consultation?
Hopefully, you haven't submitted one and haven't heard back from me. Um, we generally, we generally, I mean, we're getting overwhelmed, as you can imagine, and I'm
Yeah.
sure this is true for a lot of firms. We generally respond within several days of the request, but may not be able to schedule the consult for some time out. It really depends on availability of attorneys
Mm,
at our firm. So,
mm, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. My wife is transferring from H1 to H4 plus EAD. She got her I-765 receipt notice on June 18. Is this sufficient proof to show that she's not out of status?
The I-765 receipt notice is not proof of status. It's proof that you have a work permit pending. If she's transferring from H1B to H4 plus EAD, um, I'm assuming the H1, the I-797 is still valid, right? I mean, she may not be in the working for that company anymore,
Mm.
But at least I-797 is still valid. I'm assuming you're asking this because of the whole court thing, right? So, I mean, she's transferred from H1 to H4. Is she leaving the company? I guess that's a question. Maybe you can answer this question. Has she left that company that she was on an H1B for?
Mm.
Maybe if they can answer that question, we can come back to them.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because that's an important fact or
Yeah.
point that I need to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need help filing change of status from H1 to H2.
So do I. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I know the feeling. If you'd like to, contact a law firm to help you, I would probably think it's for the most part people can do it quite quickly online
Mm.
themselves, and it's not the most straightforward application, but it's not rocket science either.
Mm.
And you get an immediate, receipt notice if you file online, and only you can do it online. Lawyers can't do it online for you. But if you need help, then talk to a law firm, and then they can help you.
Yeah. Okay. She was laid off. So.
Okay. Yeah. So if that's the case, I-797 expires October 2025.
Mhm.
So that means the company's probably notified USCIS, right?
Mm.
If she's applied for H4, this is the exact situation to this person that I'm talking about,
Mm.
where my client changed to H4 after leaving their company.
Mm.
Okay. So the way you have historically proved you're in status, or at least in a period of authorized stay, is with the I-539 receipt notice, not the
Mm.
I-765 receipt notice. And
Mm.
that's the argument that we're making to the court. So I can let you know in 10 days. Okay.
Mm.
Let's
So
do a part 2 of this talk in 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
So how does the whole court thing work? Like, do you have to go to court, or you
Hmm.
just?
Yeah. If the case, so we're applying, we're motioning, we're telling the court, please cancel this. This is all BS.
Mm.
Okay. If they agree, it's canceled. You don't have to show up.
Yeah.
Okay. If they say no, you have to show up. Then you must show up. Otherwise, guess what? You are deportable. If you
Mm.
don't, it's like getting a traffic ticket, and not showing up. Now,
Mm.
now you can be arrested, right? There's going to be a warrant for your arrest, right? It's the same thing in immigration court. So then you and your lawyer are going to have to go into court and hash this out. And what is happening in immigration court right now? There's probably like an 8-year backlog in court cases. The first hearing is what's called a master calendar hearing, where you plead, and then they schedule your actual hearing, which in many cases is
Mm.
5 years out at this point. Because
Mm.
why? There's no immigration judges, and the big beautiful bill is spending a lot of money on ICE enforcement, but taking away immigration judges.
Mm.
So,
I just sent
yeah,
you.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah, link is here for you.
Yeah, I just sent you the link if you want to schedule something. Uh, and let's say the case happens, do you then like argue? Who do you argue with? Like, is it the
Mm-hmm.
USCIS people, Homeland? They have their lawyers. I'm assuming they're fighting.
DHS or ICE has their lawyer. It's called the Office of the Chief Counsel, OCC, and you
Okay,
have your lawyer. And you basically, it's like the prosecutor and the defendant, right? And
but
there's a
there's no
judge.
jury. It's
There's
just
no
your.
jury, just an immigration judge.
Okay. Hmm. Interesting. So it's completely based on how the judge is like more, you know,
Hmm. It's
Republican.
basically it's completely up to the judge. Yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay.
then if that's denied, then you can appeal to, up the chain, Board of Immigration Appeals, then Circuit Court of Appeals, etc. Um, but what's happening is that ICE is coming in, not to scare everybody here. I'm not saying this is going to happen to you, but what's happening to the undocumented population is that they're deporting people who are in proceedings right now
Hmm.
because they're saying they're deportable, so they can deport them, and the Office of the Chief Counsel is letting them do that. Okay. I'm not saying this is happening to the H1B population. So
Yeah. Yeah.
don't think this is happening to you yet. This is happening to the undocumented population. But this is kind of what is at risk here. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And this is what we are going to fight against. Okay. But it's important for everybody to know this is happening, right? Rather than just us not talking about it because we don't want to scare everybody. I
Yeah.
don't want to scare people either, but now this is happening. So it's
Hmm.
better to be kind of clear about the dangers that are present versus pretending like they don't exist. so that we
Yeah,
can all be focused on solving this problem together.
true. Yeah. Thank you, Samir, for bringing this up. And of course,
Mhm.
if there's more updates,
Yeah.
we'll jump on a call and update people as well. But
Sounds good, Yudi. Thanks so much for having me. All right.
yeah, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys on Friday again. O1 Visa webinar link is in the description. I will see you guys on Friday. Samir,
Be
I'll
there Friday. Go from ordinary to extraordinary.
yes. Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody.